Today I am going to show you how to master CSS Flexbox, the layout system that makes responsive design way easier. By the end of this video, you will be able to build beautiful, responsive layouts without using CSS grid or frameworks. We will start with basics and go all the way to advanced tricks step by step. So first, what is Flexbox? Flexbox stands for Flexible Box Layout, and it's a CSS model made for designing layouts in a one-dimensional direction, either in a row or column. It helps you align items easily, control spacing between elements, create responsive layouts without writing tons of code. Compare this to older methods like float or inline block. They are harder to control, need clear fix hacks, and they just don't adapt well. Alright, let's actually see how Flexbox works in a real example. First, I'm going to create a simple layout, just a container with 3 boxes inside it. Here's the basic HTML. So we have a div with the class container. This will be our flex container. Inside it, we have added 3 child divs. Each one has a class of box. These are going to be our flex items. Now let's style them using CSS so we can see them clearly. As you can see, we have styled the container with some padding and a light background so the boxes don't stick to the edges. And we have given each box a nice purple background, some spacing and white bold text. Now here's the important part. The moment we add display flex to the container and all the direct children inside, like our 3 box divs, become flex items. Now look at what happened in the preview. All 3 boxes line up horizontally by default. That's because Flexbox lays things out in a row, side by side, instead of stacking them vertically like normal block elements. So with just one line of CSS, display flex, we have turned a basic HTML structure into a flexible horizontal layout. Now let's try a quick change in direction. Now see what happens? All the boxes are stacked vertically again. That's because flex direction column tells Flexbox, hey, align everything top to bottom instead of left to right. Here's a little tip. Row is the default, left to right, column is vertical. You can also use row reverse or column reverse to flip the direction. What if we don't want items to squish? Sometimes when your Flexbox items are too big, they will overflow the container. To fix that, we add flex wrap. Now, if the container doesn't have enough space, the boxes will wrap instead of squeezing or overflowing. That's super useful for responsive designs, especially when you are working with images, cards, or grids. Flex flow is a shorthand property for writing both flex direction and flex wrap in one line. I always recommend using it. It keeps your CSS neat and readable. Alright, now that we have created a flex container and added some boxes inside it, let's take it one step further and talk about how to align items using Flexbox. One of the biggest reasons people love Flexbox is how easy it makes alignment. You can literally center things horizontally or vertically with just a couple of lines. Let's go back to our container. Right now the boxes are just sitting in a row, sticking to the left. What if we want to push them to the center of the container? We can do that using a property called justify content. So in our CSS, for container, I will add justify content center, and you will instantly see in the preview all the boxes moves to the center, aligned horizontally. That's what justify content does. It controls the alignment of items along the main axis, which by default is horizontal. If we change the flex direction to column later, then the main axis would be vertical and justify content would align items vertically in that case. Now let's try a few different values so you understand what they do. If I write justify content flex start, all the items move to the left. That's the default behavior. If I write justify content flex end, they move to the right. Center brings them to the center, and if I use space between, it spreads the item out with equal space between them, and the first and last items touch the edges. There is also space around which gives equal space on all sides, and space evenly which distributes everything equally, including space at the ends. You can try these one by one and see the live result. It really helps understand how spacing works in Flexbox. Now, that's the horizontal alignment. What about vertical? For that, we use use a second property called align items. Let's say we increase the height of our container, maybe add height 300 pixels. Now the boxes are sticking to the top. To vertically center them, we just add align items center, and that's it. All the boxes moves to the vertical center. So align items work on the cross axis, which is vertical by default. There are other values too, like flex start, which pushes items to the top, flex end pushes them to the bottom, and stretch makes them fill the height of the container. But center is the most commonly used one. Now just imagine this. For years we used float hex, margin auto tricks, or even absolute positioning just to center things. But with Flexbox, it's literally two lines: justify content center, align items center. That's the power of Flexbox: clean, simple, and super flexible. Let's move on to how you can control the size of individual items inside the container. Now that you know how to align items inside a Flexbox container, let's talk about how to control the size and behavior of the individual items themselves. Inside a Flex container, each child is called a Flex item, and we can give each one its own sizing rules using three main properties: Flex Grow, Flex Shrink, and Flex Spaces. Let's look at each one with examples so it actually makes sense. First, let's start with Flex Grow. By default, all your Flex items have Flex Grow 0, which means they won't grow. They will just stay the size they are. But if you want one item to take up more space than the others, you can increase its flex grow value. For example, here is our basic layout again. Now in CSS, let's give each box a base style. Now all the boxes grow equally and fill up the container with equal width, but here's the fun part. What if I give box 2 a grow value of 2? Now box 2 takes up twice the space of the others, so the grow value is kind of like weight, how much space each item should take relative to others. Next we have flex shrink. We are gonna use the same layout, and here is the base CSS. Right now each box is 100 pixel wide, and we have added display flex to the container, so they are setting in a row. Now let's test what happens when we don't have enough space. I will reduce the width of the container to simulate a small screen or limited space. Now watch carefully. The boxes are shrinking to fit within the container. That's because by default, Flexbox gives each item flex shrink 1, which means they are allowed to shrink when space is tight. Now let's change that. I will keep the container width small and add this to box 2. And now box 2 doesn't shrink at all, while the other two boxes is squished to make room for it. Flex shrink controls how much an item is allowed to shrink when space is limited. Flex shrink 1 means yes, shrink me if needed. Flex shrink 0 means don't touch me, I will stay the same size. This gives you full control over how your layout behaves in tight spaces. Now let's move on to flex spaces. This property sets the initial size of a flex item before grow or shrink is applied, and it overrides any width you have written. Let's go back to our normal container. Now remove the width 100 pixels from the boxes. Instead we will use flex spaces. Now even though we didn't define a width, all the boxes will appear 150 pixel wide because that's what we set as their base size. What's cool is that flex spaces works perfectly with flex grow and flex shrink. Think of it like this. It's the starting size before anything grows or shrinks. Let's say I add this. That line actually combines all three properties in one. The first one means this item is allowed to grow if there's extra space. The second one means it can also shrink if the container gets smaller. And the last part, 150 pixels, is the starting size of the item before any growing or shrinking happens. So again, flex spaces replaces the need for width in most cases, and it plays nicely with responsive layouts. Now let's see how Flexbox works in a real-world responsive layout. We will take a very common example, a simple navigation bar with a logo on the left and a few links on the right. On bigger screens, they will sit side by side, but on smaller screens, the layout should stack neatly. Let's start with the HTML. Pretty simple. We have a nav container, a div for the logo, and an unordered list for the menu. Now let's style this using Flexbox. Here's what's happening. We made the nav bar a flex container using display flex. Then we use justify content space between to push the logo to the left and the menu to the right. And inside the menu, we use display flex again to arrange the list items in a row with some padding using gap. Now on our desktop, it looks perfect. Everything is clean and aligned, but let's make it responsive. Watch what happens if we shrink the screen. The links get squished, not ideal. So here's the fix. Let's add a media query. Now when the screen width drops below 600 pixels, we change the flex direction of the nav bar from row to column, so the logo stacks on top and the menu goes underneath it. Nice and clean. We also make the menu vertical by changing its direction and reducing the gap between items, and just like that, we add a few lines of CSS. We have created a responsive navigation bar that adjusts beautifully on different screen sizes. Now that you have got a solid grip on the basics, let's explore a few advanced Flexbox features that can really take your layouts to the next level. We will talk about three properties here: order, align content, and flex flow. Let's start with order. By default, Flexbox items appear in the same order as they are in the HTML, but what if you want to change the visual order without touching the HTML at all? Flexbox makes that super easy using the ordered property. Let's say we have this layout again. Now, all three boxes appear left to right, box 1, box 2, and box 3. But let's say you want box 3 to appear first. Instead of rewriting your HTML, you can just do this. And instantly, box 3 jumps to the front. So, order gives you full control over the layout independent of the HTML structure. Super useful for rearranging items on different screen sizes or when working with dynamic content. Now, let's move on to align content. This one only kicks in when you have multiple rows of flex items, like when your container has flex wrap. If your items wrap onto multiple lines, align content lets you control the spacing between those lines. Here, if there are 2 rows of items, align content center will center the entire group of rows vertically within the container. Other values like space between, space around, or stretch will distribute the rows differently. You can experiment with them and visually see how the rows shift. Finally, let's talk about flex flow. So I won't go too deep again, but just to recap, it's a shorthand that lets you set both flex direction and flex wrap in a single line.